Double game week 37. Here are the best players that you need to be bringing in. Let's get into it.
Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game. Where Fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top. Guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
G'day mate, welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Rue and welcome back to another FPL video. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through my double game week 37 transfer tips. So a few teams are doubling: Brighton, Chelsea, Man City, Spurs, Newcastle as well, Man United. So there are a few decent teams that are doubling, but I'm only going to choose some of the players that maybe some people are overlooking. Yes, we all know Palmer's a great option, Haaland's a great option, Foden's a great option, etc, etc. But I want to talk about some players that you might not have in your team and you should potentially be bringing in. First of all, I just want to say, please make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you've been watching for a while, because about 84% of you that watch and don't subscribe, so it would be great to get that down to at least 50%, and it costs nothing and it's completely free and it does help me out a lot. And smash a like on this video if you do like it. Let's start off with Richarlison. So he just kind of sums up what this whole video is about. Players that you might have overlooked because one, their team has lost 3 in a row. 2, he's just come back from injury and hasn't looked amazing. But it is a double game week. He's 6.8 million. He's down as a midfielder. He'll be playing up front. It ticks a lot of the boxes, and he's only 2.5% owned, which is very, very low owned, and he could be a massive differential for you in your team. If you're someone that maybe doesn't have Son yet, then I think go to Richarlison instead. I think he is a better option currently, in terms of his ownership, in terms of he's going to be playing as number 9. Obviously Son probably will have penalties, but I think it's worth the risk considering someone like Richarlison will be playing through the middle, and he's a midfielder as well, just like Son, so he does get the same amount of points for a goal and he does get the extra point for a clean sheet. But Richarlison, double game week, 2 home fixtures, Burnley and Man City at home. I'd kind of look at this as, yes, they've got Man City, but they've got Burnley at home, and then they've got Sheffield United away in game week 38. So you've got Burnley and Sheffield United in the next 2 I guess, 2 game weeks. So for me, if Man City wasn't there and it wasn't a double game week, you'd be looking to get in someone from Spurs. So I think Richarlison can be that guy, to be totally honest with you, as a differential. Since he's come back from injury, he came off the bench against Arsenal for 26 minutes, played 62 minutes against Chelsea. But for me now, I think he's going to start for the rest of the season. I think he's got enough minutes under his belt. Obviously, it is a kind of a short turnaround between Chelsea and the Liverpool game in game week 36. But we'll know more because this is actually being filmed before game week 36. So we'll know more by then. And if he does come through that game, maybe plays another 60 minutes, I can see him going on and playing for the rest of the season. Even if he doesn't, playing against Liverpool, it's not a bad thing because, again, I can see him playing the rest of the season in that case. So far this season, 10 goals, 3 assists in 18 starts. He did go through a nice patch, kind of, I'd say, midway through the season where he got a few goals, about game week 16 to game week, 23, and then he got injured. And obviously, he's just come back from injury. But I think he can deliver, and I think he can be a nice differential for those that have either got Son and have had enough of him, or are looking to get in a Spurs player for that double game week and, of course, for Sheffield United away. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Next up, we've got another forward that a lot of people have been taking a little bit of a joke out of, and it is Nicholas Jackson. And I was one of them, to be honest, at the start of the season. I didn't rate him at all. Even in pre-season, I didn't rate him, but to be honest, I think he can be a good option for FPL, and I do currently have him in my team. Obviously, I didn't want to see him score against Spurs, but he did, and to be honest, it was a well-taken goal after the rebound from the Cole Palmer free kick. Like I said, I haven't seen game week 36 yet, their game in game week 36, but for me, I think he can be a really, really nice option for this double game week. So they've got 2 away games, Chelsea, which is the only thing. Forest away, Brighton away. But both teams do concede goals. And then they finish the season with Bournemouth at home, who have obviously got nothing else to play for. They're safe. Yeah, they're not really looking at Europe or anything like that. They're probably yeah, just sitting around mid-table if at best. So for me, I can definitely see Nicholas Jackson doing very well in these games. And to be honest, he's on a bit of form, I'd say. 4 returns in his last 4. Yes, he misses a lot of chances, don't get me wrong, but I think the fact that he's getting chances is really, really good. So in terms of throughout the whole season, his XG is 0.54, so he's getting a goal every other game. 11 goals, 27 games this season, 27 starts and 5 assists, so 16 returns in 27 is not too bad. And he's got the assists in there as well. In terms of as a total package, you can get assists with the 5 assists this season, but he is still very, very low owned. I know a lot of people have been joking about him, but I think he can be a massive differential for you. 10.1% owned. Yes, a lot of people maybe that watch this video probably own him, but you got to remember it's a game of like 10, 11 million people. So you're going to be making up room on someone if you do get him in and he does well. And the fixtures are there for him. And for me, he is definitely a good option as a second Chelsea option alongside Palmer. And he's a forward as well, where there might be a lack of double game week forwards at the minute. Let's get on to the next player. So now we've got another player that is probably a bit of a joke man, is not really on great form. Yeah, has only scored once since game week 25. Obviously, he missed a few games with injury, but yeah, it's not good enough really. 8 goals, 2 assists for him this season, 23 starts. Is not good enough, don't get me wrong, but with how bad Man United have been this season, I don't really blame him at all. I just think he doesn't really get the service. However, it's a double game week. 2 home games, Arsenal and Newcastle. Not the easiest home games, but 2 home games nonetheless. And then finish the season off with Brighton away, who are shipping goals for fun at the moment. He's only 7.1 million. He's 5.9% owned, so massive, massive differential. I think Højlund can be a nice option. We've heard some talks. Again, this has been filmed before Man United's game, pre-game week 36. But we've heard some talks that Bruno Fernandes might be a doubt. And I think if Bruno Fernandes is a doubt, you're going to want some sort of coverage from the Man United attack. And I think Højlund can be that guy. Yeah, like I said, forward spots are a little bit less, I'd say, valuable than midfield spots at the minute. There are a lot of good midfielders. Son, Palmer, Salah, if you still want to go there. Who else have we got? Foden. There's a lot of Bruno Fernandes. There's a lot of good midfielders at the minute. But forwards, really Haaland in terms of double game week and Jackson, that's about it. So I think going for someone like Højlund, who's a massive differential. A lot of people are going to be on Fernandes, and if Fernandes is out for a long time, I don't think he will be. I think he probably might even play game at 36. But if he is a doubt, then I think Højlund should be the one to go for. Obviously, like I said, this season it's not been the best in terms of goal scoring form. But I think Man United are one of them teams that will just concede a lot and will, I guess, have to score goals to win, and I think that makes it, I guess, the person who's up front to do that, and I think it is obviously going to be Højlund. It's just obviously the creativity around him, the Rashfords, the Garnacho, the Brunos, and Bruno's been playing very well recently, but I think he needs some help in there. Garnacho's obviously doing okay, but for me, yeah, it's not a guaranteed person that I think you should go for, but like I said, this video is full of people that might have been overlooked, potential differentials, and I think Højlund is one of them, and he can do well in your team if you wanted to go for it. So next up, we're going to talk about Manchester City and the Manchester City players. So I think Haaland and Foden are obviously the go-tos. Yes, Foden missed game week 35, but he's going to be back for game week 36 and 37 and so on. But Gvardiol, 5 million now, 7.8% owned, with them fixtures, 2 away games, Fulham and Spurs, which are tough, and then West Ham at home, last game of the season. I think he is the best. I think he's the best, yeah, Man City defensive option at the minute. Kyle Walker is up there as well, don't get me wrong, and I do think Kyle Walker is probably level with him, if not just below, but he's 12.6% owned, so he's much more higher owned. Gvardiol is nowhere near that. He's 7.8%, so like a whole 5% less. He's cheaper than Kyle Walker, 0.5 million, and I think he is a bit bigger goal threat than Kyle Walker. So far this season, Gvardiol has got 2 goals, 1 assist, which again is not amazing numbers, But if you just watch him play, he does get forward quite a lot. And yeah, I think he can do some damage in game week 37 if he does get a goal, maybe nicks a clean sheet as well. Kyle Walker, like I said, is 0.4 million more and has got 5 assists, so more assists, no goals. But I think with the money saved, with the fact that Gavardio's got a bigger goal threat, I think he's the one to definitely go for. Obviously, a lot of people that have played their wild card might have already doubled up on City and are just, or tripled up on City and just waiting for that Ederson news. I think Ederson will be fine, but with Gavardio, I think he can be a nice option if you maybe don't have that City triple up and you need someone to go for in a defence. I think Gavardio can be that one to go for, and he's attacking. You've seen him get goals, get assists, so it's not, I guess, ideal considering City do concede goals, but I feel like with Man City, when it comes towards the business end of the season, they grind out wins 1-0. I just, in my head, when City are going for the title, 1-0 KDB, 1-0 KDB, 1-0 KDB, I just have that in my head. And if that does happen, then Gavardio is going to be picking up a clean sheet. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. So now we've got Anthony Gordon. So a lot of people on the wild card might not have gone for Anthony Gordon. I did, and I think a lot of people should have gone for him. I know some people went for Maddison instead, which I think was a massive, massive mistake. I think Gordon is being undervalued, underappreciated, and underselected, to be totally honest with you. I'm still in shock that he's under 20% owned. A lot of people might see that as not a differential, but it still is, considering some other players, even in the Newcastle team, are higher owned than him. So, for example, Isak is 36.8% owned. Trippier, obviously this is probably from a lot of teams that started the season and are not active, 21.5% owned. And then you've got Gordon. So, for me, he's still been underappreciated. He's had a phenomenal season. And for me, he's got to be in your team. Yes, there's talk about he's not as good away from home. Newcastle not as good as away from home. And I completely do get that. But it's one of them things where they've got to do well from home at some point. And Gordon has been on fire this season. So 10 goals, 15 assists, 25 returns in 31 starts. It's actually ridiculous. And he's only 6.3 million. I really don't know why everyone doesn't have him in their team. I know some people went for Maddison for the double game week. Okay, fair enough. But Gordon have Sheffield United at home. Even if you don't believe in his away form, you know his home form is going to do the business. And for me, the fact that in this double game week, Brighton at home, that could be a Gordon goal and 2 assists, goal and assist, double digit just from that game. And then you got Man United away, who are absolutely shocking defensively. So he could easily nick an assist in that game, maybe even get a goal. And then you're looking at, 20-odd points from a player that is not good away from home. I think you've got to put him in your team. I think you've got to have Isak in your team. You've got to have Gordon in your team. I think with them fixtures, yes, on paper they look kind of hard. Brighton are half-decent same. Maybe not this season, but in general they are. Man United, obviously this season they haven't been great. So for me, them fixtures are very good for attackers. Brentford away last game of the season, they're going to be, I guess, fine and nothing to play for. Newcastle potentially going for Europa. I think they'll pull out a result. So for me, if you don't own Anthony Gordon, get him in your team. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you've liked this video, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. It does help me out a lot. I'm trying to hit at least 1,500 before the end of the season. So if you can do that, that would be great. And good luck for the game week.